Shri Aurobindo's contribution to education. Introduction. Shri Aurobindo Ghosh was one of the greatest scholars, educationist, philosopher, social reformer and freedom fighter of his time. Shri Aurobindo has come on the earth not to bring a teaching or a creed in competition with previous creeds or teachings, but to show the way to overpass the past and to open concretely the route towards an inevitable future. Shri Aurobindo was born on 15th August 1872 at Kon Nagar village of the Hooghly district of West Bengal. His father, Krishna Dhan Ghosh, was a well-known civil surgeon who studied medical sciences in England and returned to India as a totally Western-oriented gentleman. His mother, Mrs. Swarnlata Devi, was a religious Hindu lady. At the age of 7, he was taken to England for education and lived there for 14 years. Brought up at first in an English family at Manchester, he joined St. Paul's School in London. Then he joined King's College, Cambridge, where he studied for 2 years. He was a brilliant scholar in Greek and Latin. He learned French from his childhood in Manchester and also studied German and Italian. Shri Aurobindo entered Baroda College at first as part-time lecturer in French, afterwards as a regular professor teaching English, and was finally appointed vice principal. He learned Sanskrit and several modern Indian languages. Through his paper, namely Bande Mataram, Karam Yogini, Dharam and fairy speeches, he aroused the intensive feeling of nationalism in people of India. In 1914, he began the publication of a philosophical monthly, the Arya. Most of his important works, The Life Divine, The Synthesis of Yoga, Essay on the Gita, the Isha Upanishad, appeared serially in Arya. These works embodied much of the inner knowledge that had come to him in his practice of yoga. Shri Aurobindo left his body on 5th December 1950. Philosophy of life. He laid stress on spiritual growth and practice of yoga. Never get excited, nervous or agitated. Remain perfectly quiet in the face of all circumstances. Never take physical happiness at their face value. There are always a clumsy attempt to express something else, the true thing which escapes your superficial understanding. Never complain of the behavior of anyone unless you have the power to change his nature. What makes him act thus? And if you have the power, change him instead of complaining. In brief, never forget the purpose and goal of your life. The will for the great discovery should be always there, soaring over you, about what you do and what you are, like a huge bird of light dominating all the movements of your being. The spiritual consciousness, on the other hand, means to live the infinite and eternal, to become fully aware of your psychic being, and to live a psychic life. You must abolish in you all selfishness. But to live spiritual life, you must be selfless. Concept of education. He was against the evils of strain and cramming in education. He suggested that muscles of the mind should be thoroughly trained by simple and easy means and methods of teaching. Arose in them the desire for knowledge, for progress. In education, we are to consider the child, the teacher, and the link and relation between them. An attitude of understanding and love. Every child is a lover of interesting narrative, a hero worshipper and a patriot. He is an inquirer, an investigator, analyzer and an artist. Let them assimilate They should have sufficient time for their physical exercise. It will be an all-round progress in all directions. In accordance with this view, the great purpose of education is to help the soul to come forward, to assert its mastery over its instruments, gain experience, and grow eventually. Manifest the powers it has to set forth in life. Even in a young child, it is the soul we have to meet. A soul meeting, a soul giving it due consideration and trust. Without forgetting, however, that the body is frail and the mind immature. Integral education. To educate according to Sri Aurobindo is not spiritual but also rational, vital and physical. In other words, it is an integral education. It has been collaborator. The mother in these words, education to be complete must have 5 principles aspect relating to the 5 principles activities of the human being: the physical, the vital, the mental, the psychic and the spiritual. The physical education. Perfect is the true aim of all the culture. If our seeking is for a total perfection of the being, the physical part of it can't be left aside. For the body is the material basis. The body is the instrument which we have to use. We need a sound and healthy body, strength and fitness, training of senses, grace, beauty and harmony, self-mastery, discipline, courage and confidence, cooperation and fair dealing with others. The vital education. Advice may be given when needed or asked for, but the teacher should remember that the first rule of moral training is to suggest and invite, not command or impose. He has to put the child into the right road to his own perfection and encourage him to follow it, watching, suggesting, helping, but not interfering. Punishment and stimulation of fear are really the last resort and should be avoided. Mental education. The chief aim of education should be to help the growing soul to draw out that in itself which is best and make it perfect for a noble use. The acquisition of new knowledge, what is usually called research, is at present reserved for the postgraduate level up to the level. Knowledge is presented as a chewed matter to be swallowed up and digested, but it is regain it by himself. It is this creative discovery of knowledge which should be the aim and means of education. The psychic and spiritual education. Psychic means belonging to the soul or psyche. The psychic being is a conscious form of the divine growing in the evolution. The divine, even as the master, does not punish anybody, does not threaten, does not force obedience. It is the human soul that has freely come to the divine and offer itself to divine levels. Aims of education. The aims of education in educational philosophy of Sri Aurobindo are perfection. Sri Aurobindo was a perfectionist. He never satisfied with partial remedies. He considered the individual as a growing soul with a being, a nature and capacities of his own. The aim of education, therefore, was to realize these capacities and grow into fullness of physical and vital energy. Harmony. Harmony is the key to understand Sri Aurobindo's thought everywhere. Those who complain about the difficulty in understanding his writings lack this inherent urge to harmony. On the other hand, those who seek harmony easily understand Sri Aurobindo's works in his philosophy of education as in his metaphysics, political philosophy and social philosophy. Evolution. The edifice of Sri Aurobindo's philosophy is based upon the theory of evolution. Evolution, however, has been felt and realized by almost all the thinkers of our age. Evolution involves not only growth but also transformation, not only adjustment but a more intimate harmony. Building the innate parts. The central aim of education, according to Sri Aurobindo, is the building of the parts of the human mind and spirit, the evoking of knowledge and will, and of the power to use knowledge, character, culture, that at least, if not more, the child is born with certain innate parts of the body, the vital, the mind, and the spirit. Cultivation of values. The present crisis of man is due to the chaos of values. Old values have been challenged while new values have not firmly taken their place. Character formation very much depends on values. The supreme value in Aurobindo's thought is harmony. Other values are spirituality, divinity, evolution, ascent, transformation, etc. All these must be cherished and developed. Methods of teaching. The methods of teaching, according to Aurobindo, are freedom of child, learning by doing, mother tongue as medium of instructions, observation method, training of imagination, training of languages, training of memory and judgment, education through cooperation. The curriculum. The essential principle of Sri Aurobindo's philosophy of education is freedom. Therefore, no rigid scheme of curriculum has been prescribed. However, hints are scattered in Aurobindo's works about different criteria of curriculum. As has been already pointed out, the following criteria for planning curriculum are found in Aurobindo's writings. Human nature. The curriculum should aim at developing whatever is already given in seed form in the child. Education can only lead to the perfection of the instruments which are already present in the educand. Individual differences. The curriculum should be planned according to individual differences. The mind has to be consulted in its own growth. The aim of the teacher is to help the growing soul in drawing out his best and to make it perfect, noble use. From near to the far. Another principle governing the planning of curriculum is to proceed from near to the far, from that which is to that which shall be. Modern and up to date. Sri Aurobindo was not a reactionary or a conservative. He was a modern thinker with a love for modernity and up-to-date knowledge. Therefore, he prescribed that the education must be up-to-date in form and substance and modern in life and spirit. Universal knowledge. The curriculum should include whatever is universally true. That is the basis of all scientific knowledge and philosophy. Successive teaching. Sri Aurobindo disagrees with some educationists who wish to introduce every subject simultaneously to the child. He prescribes that the subjects should be taught successively. New subjects should be introduced after the earlier are mastered. Thus, few subjects should be taught at a time. Co-curricular activities. The school should provide not only academic but also do the co-curricular activities. Place of a teacher. The teacher is the guide, the helper, and above all the wise friend to whom the children come gladly and confidently in case of difficulty. When they do not see a way or when they need a bit of knowledge, information or a clue, his role is to present and to suggest, never to command or impose. He must guide the child how to learn the subject by himself, help him in devising his own methods of learning and organizing the knowledge. The teacher should remember that a child learns by doing by discovering and not by listening submissively to effectual knowledge. Shri Aurobindo's contribution to education is of great importance in today's time. The child occupies the central position. An attitude of understanding and love, and above all an attitude of respect. A conviction that the more a child remains fully and valiantly a child, the more and better he will grow into a good adult. The educator's first task is to make sure that he is happy, even if it is at the core of the educational end. Aims of Aurobindo's philosophy are based on the philosophy of idealism. His philosophy leads to spiritualism. He has stressed spiritual growth and yoga practice. According to him, India is a nation which has fulfilled a spiritual role in the community of nations. Therefore, through education, he has called for the spiritual growth of humanity.